I'm Nicolette Minster, and tonight I'm going to take you behind the scenes of the 2014 Melbourne Fringe Festival. We're going to sit down and have a chat with some artists, come to the Fringe Hub itself, and then it wouldn't be Fringe without an amazing opening night party. I am with Rod Quantock.
You are? Well, I'm with you.
Well, we're with each other.
We
With the Fringe Festival, there's a number of genres that are covered. So
yes, furniture.
Yes.
Yes, I know. I was thinking of just standing still very quietly like that and people could come and sit on me, but I didn't have the time. There's furniture, it's fantastic.
What do you see as being the benefits of being involved in a festival that has so many genres?
Oh, look, I don't look at
Beyond
it that way,
having
really.
somewhere to sit.
No, that's right. Can you sit on them? It's art, it's art. I can't sit on it. Oh, look, I think what does it do? Look, I think from my point of view, nothing. It doesn't mean much to me at all that there's furniture there. But I think overall, for people who participate in the Fringe, because I've been to things in the Fringe that haven't been stage-based. I've been to things like the furniture exhibition, and it was a great exhibition a few years ago about architecture and so on. So I go to those things probably more than I go to the performances.
Melbourne Fringe is really eclectic. There's such a range of not only arts, different art forms, but types of people that want to express themselves, types of people from the community. And I always find that really interesting, really fascinating. And every year there's just gems that come out of the woodwork, you know?
Yeah. I mean, it's really cool for us to be involved in the Fringe Festival with so much going on in so many different genres, because we are trying a little bit to challenge the genre that we write in anyway, which is more music theatre, but we're trying to make a more shorter, more workable musical. So that kind of falls into the cabaret as well. It's as workable and as fun as a cabaret, but it's as complex and is structured like a musical. Yeah. So to be surrounded with all these other genres, it's really cool to find some influences from that as well. Yeah.
Do you know what I really like about Fringe is all those like little 5-minute performances that you catch down an alleyway and that like only cool people find out about because they didn't really publicise it very well. I do love that element of it. You never quite know what you're going to see. And you see some weird things around North Melbourne, I have to say.
Yeah, like, just in general.
Just people getting into cardboard boxes and like seeing some puppet show behind a hole. Like.
Now, do you think Melbourne Fringe is successful in developing independent artists and diverse arts practices?
Yeah, I definitely think that that Melbourne Fringe it helps us. Well, even like we're developing as writers and producers and artists ourselves.
And I mean, Fringe festivals are great because they're open to submission from everyone, and they facilitate so well and so easily, and in such a fun way, the putting on of a show. It really takes the pressure and the stress out of it and makes it just a fun kind of experience for everyone.
I know a ton of us who started at Melbourne Fringe, and honestly, like I wrote a letter to Fringe after my first show and I was like, I didn't even believe in myself. Like when you okayed me to go into the Fringe Hub and do this show, I didn't know what I was doing, and Fringe kind of told me what I was doing. Like the audiences came and went, this is what you're doing and this is what we loved about it. So that from that point on, I kind of went, okay, well, I'll just kind of do that thing that I did again And then they come again, and then they kind of reiterate, hey, we love this part of what you're doing, and it just builds confidence.
You have a dialogue as well, I suppose.
That's it, exactly.
Last year when I did my first solo show, the Fringe were so supportive of my work. I think they really recognised that it was perhaps something a little bit different, and they really loved the idea of it. And they just went, yes, do it all, have it all. And I was like, okay, you know. I think it's a really great place for artists to experiment. It's a really safe kind of audience in a way. Like, Fringe audiences tend to be a bit more open-minded and willing to kind of absorb whatever it is they're given.
If I say the word Fringe audience, what sort of image does that conjure for you?
Anything and everything. Fringe audiences, I mean, I've had 10-year-olds in my shows, I've had 80-year-olds. When we did the choir show, it was just like, I'd look out into this sea of like old granny faces. I had a guy, when we did Choir Girl, that was 2013, I think, a guy got up in the middle of my show and let out a fart and then sat back down. And I didn't know, the audience all laughed. And afterwards a friend who was sitting behind him went, that guy got up, did a little fart and then got back down.
Well,
so I had that sort of stuff.
You know, audiences are comfortable.
That's it, that's all I ask, is that they sit there and feel,
I say. Stick around, because after this break, we are going to check out some more fun at the Fringe Hub. Welcome back to the Melbourne Fringe Hub. Let's check out what else is happening.
That was awesome.
Thanks, mate. Can I get a short synopsis of Introduction to Revolution, please?
Well, I can't tell you yet because it doesn't open for a couple of weeks and I haven't really done anything about it. Oh no, look, it will involve engaging people in a revolution that I'm planning, but it's pretty high secret, and I will break every audience into autonomous underground network cells, and at the end of it all I should have perhaps 100 individual cells of perhaps half a dozen people each, which I can then activate by an SMS.
Yes.
And when they get the SMS, that's their cue to join the revolution.
Now, you are the creator and the only performer in the show.
Yeah.
Does that make you a control freak?
Yes.
Do you have control over everything, or are there some parts of the show that you actually, hand over to other people, or?
Yeah, so I've got like 60 sound cues.
Right, that's ambitious.
Yeah, so me and my sound and lighting person, because often they're the same person, we have to work really closely together and be in sync with each other. But having said that, if we mess it up, it's pretty fun too. So, and because of my years of impro, messing it up is often funner and funnier than getting it right every single time. So, yeah.
Can I give you a bit of a backstory?
You may.
About how it came about?
Yours.
Okay. So about 2 years ago, I went to a wedding and I sat next to the wedding DJ at dinner, and he was middle-aged, and I kind of thought, oh, middle-aged DJ, like dodgy guy that's been doing it 30 years or something. And I made all these horrific assumptions, like really, really bad. And I said to him, so you're a wedding DJ, huh? And he went, actually, I'm a bucket salesman. But my wife just saw this ad for wedding DJs and I applied a few weeks ago and I got it, and it's like my dream job, like I've always wanted to do this. So all of a sudden I felt like the worst person because I don't know, horrible things had gone through my head about this guy. And then he was beautiful and he was just as enthusiastic about buckets as he was about weddings. And so I just kind of chatted to him, and by the end I was like, this is my new Fringe show.
So it's not exclusive to the Fringe Festival. So what has changed? Has anything changed in the time that you did the show for Comedy Festival and now?
Well, yeah, like when you re-rehearse, I mean, you must be familiar with this. When you re-rehearse, you,
Are you sure we did that? Why would I have done that? That's a shit idea. Anyway, it's a bit like that, isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah. Right. But when you rehearse, you find more. You find richer kind of elements, and especially with my characters seem to develop even further and become even more detailed.
So you've written and produced the show yourself, and it is being performed by Justin.
That's right.
Kennedy. And what is it about Justin that makes him the perfect candidate to be doing Buckets List?
He's one of those people, because there's no lines in the entire show, he acts it completely facially. and physically.
There's no dialogue?
None. There's a narrator talking, but he is completely wordless. Is that the right term in theatre? I should know. Yeah. He doesn't have any lines, and he's one of those people that could engage an audience for an hour just by what he can do with his face. He's really, really extraordinary. So I kind of thought, look, I could play this character, but really it's going to be a bit of a stretch. He's just one of those people that you sort of, you know, he's just very comedic, but he can do sort of heartfelt stuff as well.
Sounds like it was a no-brainer.
Yeah, I just think he's really good with women made of buckets. I could just see it.
Thank you so much for joining us. And I
great
look forward
pleasure.
to seeing the show.
Very nice. And good luck. Tell us about your show.
All right, here we go.
Where are you on?
Okay.
What are you doing?
My show is called Inanimately.
Yes.
And it is a piece of the stand-up comedy. In fact, I have not yet imagined that I will be sitting at any point, so it is true to form. How do you find that? Do you sit much? Do you have a stall?
Oh, I'm a pioneer of sit-down comedy.
Yeah.
I mean, you're still in that stand-up stage.
Yeah, I know.
But as you get
I'm not
older,
ready to rock the boat.
you will start looking for chairs, whether they're art or not.
Things
you just want something to sit on. It gets very tiring after an hour.
I like if you've got furniture. It's mixed medium if you've got furniture in there as well.
That's true. Yeah.
You're probably eligible for more rewards, potentially
I
government
can probably
funding.
get an art council grant because of cross-platform, multimedia, all that crap.
I think you probably can.
Yeah, I mean, okay, Harbs, thanks for thinking of it. Anyway, I better go.
All right,
I'll see you later.
So
Thanks for coming.
Bye.
It's really nice
Thank
to meet
you very
you all.
much.
Okay, bye. That's the door opening, and
You were involved last year and you were the joint recipient of the Discovery Award for Truth and Fantasy.
Yeah.
So is this the first year you've done a solo performance?
Yes, this is my first full-length solo show.
And do you feel pressured by the awards of last year?
No, I don't. I think they're very different. Truth and Fantasy was with a collective called Phantom Limbs that I co-direct with James Wellesby. So that was very much, it was a double bill as well. So we made one work in collaboration with Natalie Abbott, Rebecca Jensen and Brooke L'Ariel. And then the second work was by Luke George. So I feel like this is completely different.
So how does Melbourne compare?
Easier to get audiences. We had quite a difficult experience with Adelaide because we chose a venue that was too far out. It won the best venue award one year. It was a great venue, but it was you had to get a bus out, and people just want to stay within the garden and that main street. So it's contemporary dance. But there's also the influence of contortion training, which I've been doing for the last 4 years. So it's my two practices combined into one sort of like physical piece that sort of challenges like what is a normal range for a body, and it looks at extremes of like very, very small, very minimal through to like the furthest possible point that my body can go.
And here we are, opening night of the Melbourne Fringe Festival. We're going to go behind the scenes, chat to some of the artists, and then we are going to check out an amazing opening night party. Let's go.
I'm Rowena Hudson, and I'm a performer and a clown.
I'm Sophie Nebone. I'm doing a show called Because Scary at the Son of Loft here at the Lithuanian Club.
I'm Geraldine Quinn, and I'm doing a show with Perth musician and songwriter extraordinaire Michael de Grassa, and it's called All Out of Pride.
I'm Kat Commander, and I'm the writer of You Took the Stars, which is a brand new play that's premiering at the Melbourne Fringe this year.
I'm Donna Raquel Norman. I'm a noted men's rights activist and gender liaison coach.
Hi, I'm Laura Davis. I'm a stand-up comedian. I'm doing a show here at Melbourne Fringe.
And I'm Crystal Willard, trained homeopath.
And together we run the Norman Willard Academy for Men and Adolescent Boys.
I'm Matt Stewart. That's my name.
My Fringe show is called A Four-Eyed Guide to the Galaxy. I just took my glasses off, but I am a genuine four eyes. And it's a tragic comedy about space and space exploration, inspired by my own failure to become an astronaut.
All Out of Pride, an evening of songs you're ashamed to love, was inspired by Michael's and I love of kind of slightly naff, not very cool songs. The sort of songs that someone's going to get up in a karaoke bar at 2 a.m. and sing them, and it'll divide the room. Either people love it or they hate it. So we got Michael Bolton and Daryl Braithwaite and a little bit of Barbara Streisand, a little bit of Barry Gibb, a little bit of Barry Manilow. So, but they're fun to sing. So it's just basically a celebration of those kind of slightly embarrassing songs that you sing after a pint of vodka.
So yeah, I'm Matt Stewart, and doing a show called 2 Up. Me and a friend, Hap Hayward, who I met during Raw Comedy, which is a competition we did. We were both in earlier this year, and so we're both doing like our first Fringe show and sharing the load, halving it out, and having a more experienced MC on each night, sort of steering the ship to make sure that it's even better than it would have been with just us, because it would have already been great, right? I've been going to see shows at Fringe for the last probably 5 or 6 years, but this is my first direct involvement with it. A lot of friends have done Fringe shows in the past, and it always seems like a lot of fun. I think one of the best nights of my life was the Fringe closing party like 2 years ago. I saw the sun come up. So good. So good.
My show is called Pillow of Strength. I did a run of it at Melbourne Comedy Festival and it went really well, so decided to have another season of it here. I've never done Melbourne Fringe before because I'm originally from Perth, so I've been here but I've never put on a show, so I've come over for like a dance and to watch some strange performance art, but I've never had a show here yet, so it's exciting to actually be part of it this year. Show is maybe oversimplistic to say that it's about a relationship that I once had, but it's about a particularly disturbing relationship that I once had.
After I put all the pieces next to each other, I kind of realised that it had a bit of a structure and there was a narrative, and it was kind of a love story, but it was also kind of an investigation about, you know, what it is to be alive and to deal with your own mortality. So it's kind of like a morbid love story. That's a good selling point. This is my third Melbourne Fringe as a performer, I think. I thought this year I would give myself the challenge of writing for other people and then have the opportunity to watch them perform it, so that I could get a bit more of a gauge on, you know, as a writer and as a playwright, what I can be doing to make great theatre, because that's what I'm really passionate about. I love theatre, and that's what I want to do. I want to write plays. So it's good that the Fringe Festival has a bit of room for theatre in amongst all the other solo performance stuff that really is kind of the trademark of Fringe these days.
This is my second Fringe Festival, my second Melbourne Fringe. I did my first solo show last year. My show is solo sketch comedy, so I do a little bit of stand-up in there as well, but it's mostly character sketch. So I play a bunch of different characters, and I like to play with truth. And the show this year is about fear. It's called Because Scary, so it's about what fear does to us and about fear as a motivator, as well as stopping us from doing things.
We've actually just flown in from Shanghai.
Shanghai, yes.
Yeah, we were the keynote speakers at a very big men's rights conference. We really enjoyed it.
We delivered a seminar, or as we call it, a seminar, to an audience of 1,500.
Yeah.
So it was a bit of a buzz, wasn't it?
It was. It was much nicer than here.
Yeah, this is
it's a bit dingy for us, to be honest. If you've got a defective boyfriend, a girlfriend can bring her boyfriend. If you're a mother and you want your son to be a real man, for example, then it's great for them to bring.
If you don't want your son to be incel, which is industry speak for
involuntarily celibate.
Yeah.
AKA allergic to pussy. Because as a mother, you wouldn't want that.
No, you wouldn't want that.
Oh, it's just such a great experience, and it's so much fun to be around an atmosphere where everyone's creating and everyone wants to make their show, and no one's in it for money because no one's going to make any. So it's kind of, you're doing it because you love it and you're really passionate about making those stories. So that's cool.
And audiences are kind of happy to let you really try something new, which is exciting.
Sometimes people you're used to seeing do something that's completely different, because Fringe just has that sort of license about it.
You feel something, and that's what I love about Fringe. You know, there's emotions boiling everywhere.
There's
some weird stuff on right now, and it's exciting to just maybe give yourself a blank night where you don't really plan what you're going to do and just choose shows on a whim and see what you find out.
As you can see, the Melbourne Fringe Festival has been huge. Thank you so much to our artists who took the time to get involved. I hope you've enjoyed watching. See you next year.
Classic Minster.